Hello everyone, my name is Skyra Heckman and I'm a junior here at California University of Pennsylvania. I have a major in social work and a minor in psychology, and this poster is on the Child Abuse Prevention and Treatment Act of 1974, also known as CAPTA. This poster is based off of a policy research project that I did last year in one of my policy classes, and it's just a really important act because it really advocates for children who experience abuse and neglect. So it's really important information to learn about, and also in the future of how to lessen abuse and neglect that children have to deal with. So a little more on this issue. Child abuse and neglect is an issue that's been around for a very long time, and it impacts a lot of different children. Families who deal with poverty, mental illness, stress, and a few other things. There are other factors that are more likely to have cases of child abuse and neglect in them. Race and income also have a big part in who is affected by this issue. So children of families of color are more likely to be abused and neglected, and children who are in families who experience poverty are more likely to be abused and neglected. And these disparities are due to various issues in the systems, various issues in resources that are available to them, and also just systematic racism that is in our society. So this issue is really important and something that people saw needed to be stopped. CAPTA was one of the first policies that was created to deter and to help prevent child abuse. And this act provided assistance to states to help develop child abuse and neglect identification and prevention programs. CAPTA's goals clearly state that it's to increase reporting, investigation, and identification of child maltreatment and abuse, with the general goal of keeping children safe. That is their main goal. It's interesting when you think about that it was only in 1974. I think a lot of people think that child abuse prevention and treatment help was earlier on, but in reality, like the Mary Ellen Wilson case was a child abuse case in 1874, and this was a child who was severely abused and neglected, and when they went to the system for help, the only person at the time who helped them ended up being Henry Berg, who was a worker for the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. So they had to use Henry to help them with this Mary Ellen Wilson case to get her to be safe. So out of that case kind of stemmed more of media coverage for child abuse and neglect, and led to a lot of other things being put in place to help children. So eventually along came CAPTA, which has a lot of different ways to help children who are in these situations. So part of what CAPTA does is works with creating programs and groups to help families provide resources for them, also to find new ways to prevent child abuse and neglect and to treat child abuse and neglect when it does happen. Also, research is really important. Within CAPTA, this act has helped create programs to do research on like who is being abused and neglected, what kind of factors go into that, so what can be done to stop those factors. New amendments have been added to CAPTA since its creation in 1974, so there's a lot of different aspects that have been added on to it, reaching into the realms of adoption, foster care, human trafficking. So those are all sidebars and other situations that CAPTA acknowledges. So under the data tab, there are two graphs that just kind of show the extent of this issue. So 2/3 of all cases, of all child abuse cases, involve child sexual abuse, and so that just kind of shows different abuse and neglect. Sexual abuse is about 65% of children, physical is about 21%, neglect 8%, witness violence 7%, drug endangerment 3%, and other is 7%. So that just kind of gives an idea of what kind of abuse and neglect children are experiencing. The other graph are the number of cases of child abuse in the United States by age in 2019. So the majority of kids were less than one who were abused and neglected, but it shows just kind of gives you an idea of who the population is of children who are dealing with this issue. So CAPTA is the main policy that relates and works on solving the issue of child abuse and neglect. At the 40th anniversary of CAPTA, a report was written by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the report just gave this detailed description of all the benefits and progress that America has seen in protecting children from abuse and neglect since CAPTA was enacted. So it just talks about just statistics and how it's improved, how there have been less cases since the act. That doesn't mean there's still so much room to grow. There's still a lot of children who need the help, but that's why this act is in place, to continue to grow and to learn and to just educate people. So for more information, if anyone has any questions or comments, you can email me at hec1909@calu.edu. And I just want to say thank you to the CalU Social Work Department for encouraging me to be an advocate, and the Honors Program faculty for pushing me to research important issues. So I just want to thank you all for your time,